Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of The Power of You. I am sitting here in my room and it is finally fall. It has been so cold and so chilly. And one of the things that I love about this kind of weather is that I can just go outside and take a walk around the lake or the neighborhood, and I don't have to worry about it being too hot. So I'm that kind of girl who cannot stay inside all day. So I love it when this time around, this time of the year, I can just go out anytime and really get in my walks, get in my steps, breathe some fresh air, breathe in some nature, and just really, reconnect to nature around me before I come back in and work on my laptop or, do other things. So I'm so grateful for this beautiful weather. And today's episode is all going to be about our mind. So I have been wanting to create or talk about our mind for a while now. And I feel like I've made quick reels here and there, but I never really sat down to really teach and really share what I've learned about the mind these past few years. And I feel like we don't know, and we were never really given a blueprint per se, right? Or a manual on how our brain works, how our mind works. And sometimes when we go to school, of course, maybe they teach you a few things about your brain, but really, I'm going to talk to you about the mind today, the conscious and the subconscious mind, in a way that maybe you've never heard of before. And maybe you have. This would be such a good reminder. So, without further ado, I'm excited to share some of the things that I've learned over the years that have just made such a big difference in my life. And I always feel that whatever I've learned, whatever I've been exposed to, that I just have this duty to pass on that information and pass on that knowledge and wisdom to you, to my audience. So without further ado, let's get started. So when I'm talking and mentioning the mind, the brain, I'm talking about the conscious and the subconscious. So some of us, if not all of us by now, those people who are listening to my podcast, I know that you probably are aware that we have what is called our subconscious mind, or some people also call it the unconscious. So I'm going to use those two interchangeably. I know there are people out there who says the two are different, but I'm not that scientific. So I'm going to just go on the level of that we have the conscious mind and the subconscious. Okay, and I'm going to use conscious as one side of the mind, and then the subconscious and the unconscious are similar, are used interchangeably. So what we have is, if you think of an iceberg, right? On the top, we have a little tip, and that tip is our conscious mind. So as scientists have said over the years, your conscious mind is actually only responsible for 5% of your daily actions, your daily thoughts. Okay, so that's the tip of the iceberg. And then underneath the water is this huge mass of ice that is your subconscious mind, your unconscious mind, that what is underneath, and that is 90% of what your mind is made up of. It is subconscious. It runs in the background. It is a program that is running without you having to do anything. But if someone on the outside looks in, they cannot see what is under there. They cannot see your subconscious mind. And sometimes people don't even actually know what is in their subconscious, because our subconscious mind was created when we were from 0 to 7 years old. So that really is a really early stage where we are taking in all this information from our environment, from our caretakers, and we are taking it in as our truth, okay? And through that programming, it influences 90% of your reality moving forward. So your subconscious mind is in charge of how you perceive the world through that programming, okay? Some people call it the subconscious, the primitive mind, right? Because it is during those 7 years of your that you're being primed, right, to believe certain things and to see the world in a certain way. Okay? And so everything that you are unaware of is in the unconscious or subconscious mind. Okay, these are things that you don't have to think about. So, for example, you don't have to think about breathing. You don't have to think about digesting the food that you eat, right? It all happens unconsciously, subconsciously. And the subconscious is also responsible for a lot of things. It's responsible for your beliefs, your fears, your values, your automatic thoughts, your imagination, right? It is your habits, your emotions, your feelings. So your subconscious mind works a lot quicker than your conscious mind, right? So I like to see the subconscious mind as the bridge. So I got this metaphor from one of my mentors, Catherine Zinkina. And she says that the subconscious mind is the bridge between our conscious mind and the superconscious, or also known as the universe or God. So it is the bridge linking you, your conscious mind, to the higher power, whatever you believe in. And that bridge is very important because it determines what flows in and out and what is able to travel from one end to the other end. Okay, and vice versa, like what you communicate with to the universe and what the universe is able to communicate back to you. And that all happens through your subconscious. So your subconscious mind can both work for you and or against you. Okay, and this is what really determines the kind of life you create. Because we create a lot of our life from our subconscious. And I keep saying that because you remember, it is the piece that is underneath the water, the iceberg portion that is underneath the water, that is responsible for a big part of your mind. Your subconscious mind really is 95%, and it never rests. That's also one thing you need to realize, is that your subconscious mind is always going and going and going, and because it's in the back of the mind. It's not like the conscious mind where it goes to sleep at night, okay? It's always working. It's always taking things in, whether you're consciously aware of it or not, okay? And another cool thing is that your subconscious mind thinks in visuals, symbols, and metaphors, okay? Visualizations, okay? So when I say the word spoon, right? Your subconscious mind sees a spoon. It doesn't see letters. It doesn't go SPOON, right? It sees a spoon, a visual of it. So that is one way that you can really understand and use the subconscious mind to help you manifest, to help you create a better life. If you understand that, hey, my subconscious mind thinks in visuals, symbols, and metaphors. So if you're able to create a life using metaphors and symbols and visualizations, that's why visualizations are so powerful, because if you're able to visualize it, you are able to directly connect and communicate with your subconscious and start rewiring your subconscious that way, because it talks and communicates and thinks via visuals. And I think that's so important, because now you understand why there's visualization meditations out there, right? Because those are created to target the subconscious mind and not necessarily the conscious mind. Okay, so when I found that out, I was super amazed and excited, because I'm like, wow, the power of visualization is going to help program and reprogram your subconscious. Another thing about the subconscious mind, before we move on to what the conscious mind is that your subconscious mind is wired to move you away from pain and toward pleasure. Okay, so why is that important? That's important to understand because, again, the subconscious mind is a primitive mind. It wants you to survive. Okay, so it is going to do whatever it can in order to protect you, even if it is doing something new that is scary. The subconscious doesn't understand like right or wrong, good or bad. It just understands that it needs to keep you safe, and usually pain is not good. So, and it wants to keep you comfortable and in pleasure. And so sometimes, if you can see, this is not going to help you move forward with your goals, because our goals or our dreams live outside of your comfort zone. Okay, And if it lives outside of your comfort zone, your subconscious mind is wired to keep you in your comfort zone. So if you don't have this understanding, in a sense, self-sabotage, and I don't really love the word, but I think you guys understand when I say self-sabotage, because you basically want to go for something like your dreams, right? But then you subconsciously want to avoid pain, so when you do something and you experience the pain, maybe you consciously tell yourself, oh, it's painful, I don't like this, maybe this is not for me, and then you stop doing and going for that dream, when in reality your subconscious is just wired to move you away from pain. So if you're able to bring that to your conscious mind and be like, hey, like, yeah, it's scary, it's painful, but the bigger picture is that I'm going to reach my goal. So you can override that and with your conscious mind, because you understand your subconscious mind. So I hope that makes sense, because the whole point of me helping you understand the subconscious and the conscious mind is so that you have this map, this manual, this understanding of how your brain works, so that you can go in there and really be able to really take the most use, or like get the most out of your beautiful, wonderful, magical mind, okay? So I think it's really important for you to remember that, okay? That we are wired to move away from pain and to move toward pleasure. So it's important for us to understand that just because something doesn't feel good all the time doesn't mean that all things that don't feel good, are not for our highest good, okay? Let me see if there's anything else. Oh yes, one more that's so like mind-boggling to me when I learned about this like 3 years ago, is that your subconscious mind does not know the difference between what's real and what's imagined, okay? Like, that is just like mind-boggling to me. It only knows the present moment. So if you are, this is a perfect example of anxiety, right? If you think of, maybe let's just take you back to like when you were in college or in elementary school. If you think of the test that's coming up, you get anxious, right? Or whatever emotion that you feel, but I'm just going to go with the emotion anxious. So if I am feeling anxious about the test that's coming up, my subconscious mind doesn't know that the test hasn't already arrived. So if I'm feeling anxious, it thinks, oh, or if I'm thinking about the test, I am actually telling my subconscious mind that like the test is now and it's making me anxious. So I'm actually experiencing the emotion in the present moment as though I was taking the test, but I'm actually not taking the test. I'm thinking about taking the test, and that is making me feel anxious because my subconscious mind thinks that I am taking the test. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between the real world and what's imagined. And that, again, ties into visualizations and why visualizations are so important and why they are so powerful. Because if you're able to visualize your desired reality, visualize and really prep your mind and your subconscious on a daily basis, you're going to be able to slowly rewire those parts of your brain, those part of your subconscious mind, to over time be rewired into something, into a mind that is going to be helpful and useful, and really shed away those programming that were from the 0 to 7 years of age. Okay, so understanding that, yeah, sure, you may have been programmed from an early age, but you can also rewire and slowly shift out of those programming with intention and with regular practice. Okay, so those are some of the things that I wanted to share about the subconscious mind. And now I'm going to shift into talking a little bit about your conscious mind, and so that you can really see the difference between the two and make sense of it, okay? Whew, let me take a breath, because sometimes when I'm talking, I forget to breathe. Okay, because I get a little excited. So, all right, the conscious mind. Okay, so remember that the subconscious is from 0 to 7, so technically the conscious mind comes fully online after the age of 7, okay? And this is after your critical faculty is already installed, which is basically, if you think about the iceberg metaphor, analogy, the water line is basically your critical faculty. And that critical faculty is going to kind of act as your BS meter. Okay, it's going to gatekeep things between your subconscious and your conscious mind. It is going to, take what is on the subconscious level, and it will only allow for things to come into your subconscious if it matches and if it is going to resonate and be in alignment with your subconscious mind. So the critical faculty, also known as your analytical mind, is going to really be like that police officer, like letting in and blocking things that are coming up for you. And it is going to, if you tell yourself consciously, like if you've done affirmations before, if you tell yourself like, I am a millionaire, your critical faculty is like, that's BS, and it rejects that affirmation. So that is why sometimes when you say affirmations out loud that are just way too out of your subconscious mind's reality, it automatically rejects it. And the thing that rejects it is that critical faculty, is that analytical mind, and it is created after age 7, which is when your conscious mind, takes over. Okay, so the conscious mind is really what makes humans human, and it is like, used for thinking, analyzing, rationalizing, learning, right? All those and logical thinking and willpower, that all comes from your conscious mind. Okay, and your conscious mind really engages in conscious decision making, right? It's like the thinking mind. Like, I'm gonna take everything that I know, I'm gonna take all the data, all the evidence, and I'm gonna make a logical decision. So that's your conscious mind. And we all are very, very well versed, I feel, in our conscious mind, right? Like, we always go to our conscious mind, but what we don't understand is that our conscious mind is backed up by our subconscious mind. And that is what's so important, is that sure, you're consciously acting out certain things, but you're acting out the beliefs and the values that you were subconsciously programmed with. And that's important, okay? And the conscious mind, like I said before, during the subconscious mind section, is that the conscious mind goes to sleep at the end of the night, okay? It's not always on, okay? So that's also another distinction between those two. And the conscious mind is not like the subconscious, where the subconscious thinks in visuals, symbols, and metaphors. The conscious mind thinks in words, okay? Language and numbers, okay? So that's the difference between the two, okay? And so your conscious mind can understand that there can be like short-term discomfort and pain and stuff like that. It does that very logical understanding and putting things together and analyzes the past. It plans for the future, right? And so if you can take these two together, I want you to understand that one is not better than the other, okay? One is not good, one is not bad. It's just understanding both of them. What I really want to get across to people, and not just in this episode, but in general, is that there's no good or bad. There's just such beauty and understanding, so that we know what we're working with and we know how to work with what we have. And when we understand and we come in with a lot of awareness, we're able to make, better, more aligned and honest and authentic decisions. And so the point of this episode is to help you realize that you have two parts of your mind, and when you're able to balance and work with both of them together, it becomes such a beautiful co-creation, because they actually work together to help you. At the end of the day, they're both helping you create your best life, and they think that they are doing what's best for you. But once you understand, once your higher self, right, like the superconscious part of you, whether that's God, the universe, spirit, once that part of you realizes this, then the superconscious part of you can come in and align your conscious with your subconscious, and then create a beautiful life from that place. Okay, so again, we have the conscious mind, we have the subconscious mind, and then there's the superconscious or the universe, right? And so I just want to leave you all with that because I don't want to give you too much information or too much, to go into much more complications. I really want to keep this episode nice and sweet and short, and hoping that you can see that how the subconscious mind plays out in your life and how the conscious mind plays out and what each role is, what the difference is, and how we can actually, once we're able to understand both of these, how these actually work together to and once you are aware of how they work, then you have like the manual to your mind, and you can really from there create your reality from that. And I just think it's so exciting when you're able to understand both of these. I know I was excited, and I just dive more and more into it, and like the more I learn about it, the more excited I am, the more I hear about it, I'm reminded of certain things. And so we're always learning, we're always growing, we're always adapting, and we're always just evolving and growing. So I really wanted this episode to, if this is your first time hearing about the subconscious mind, then for you to really, open yourself up to this whole reality, that this whole possibility that you can rewire your subconscious mind. You are not a victim of life, and that you do have the power to shift things in your life one increment at a time, with intention and with grace, right? Because this kind of stuff doesn't go away, doesn't change overnight. Okay, so with that being said, I would love to hear what your thoughts are, what you got out of this, if you learned anything new, and what was a good reminder for you if you've already known about this. And yeah, I really hope that this episode was able to help you see different parts of your mind and realize how magical, how powerful our brains are, and how important it is that we understand how our brain works so that we don't sabotage ourselves, so that we don't feel like stuck, right? I'm really all about empowering you as a human being, as an individual, so that you can, empower those around you. But first, you have to understand how your brain works, how your mind works, how your conscious and subconscious works together, and all that beautiful stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and go out there, live your best life, share the knowledge, share the love, and I think that is it for today's episode. I don't really know what I would like to speak on next, but as usual, whatever hits me, whatever comes to my mind, whatever I'm living through in life, I'm going to share right here with you. So make sure you are subscribed to my podcast. I am also going to upload this onto my YouTube, so you can also listen to it there if you're a fan of YouTube. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next episode. All right, bye.